Never get angry or bothered by anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, life is full of people, some who lift us up and some who may try to pull us down. But one thing I've learned over the years is this: we are the architects of our own peace, and no one else can take that from us unless we let them. Imagine for a moment being like a river. The river flows calmly, it faces rocks, branches, and dirt that get in its way, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't shout at the rocks. It doesn't waste energy trying to fight the branches because it knows its purpose. Its purpose is to keep moving forward no matter what. Now we are like that river. Life will throw stones at us, sometimes from people we care about, sometimes from strangers. But our strength lies not in fighting those stones, but in not letting them disrupt our flow. When someone criticizes you or when you find yourself upset by something someone else has said or done, take a deep breath. Remember, their actions do not define you. How you react is a choice you have. You are not obligated to react with anger or frustration. You have the power to choose peace, to choose understanding, to choose forgiveness. In fact, it's not about letting the other person win or lose. It's about you winning. Winning your inner calm, winning your peace of mind. Do you know what happens when you don't get angry or bothered? You free yourself. When we get angry, we let someone else control how we feel. We hand over our peace, and that is a power we should never give away. Think about it. Who benefits from your anger? Not you. It's just an energy drain that holds you back from being your best self. Instead of anger, choose kindness. Choose to understand that people act from their own place of hurt or frustration or misunderstanding. Their actions are often more about them than they are about you. And you are stronger than that. You don't need to carry their baggage. You don't need to take on their negativity. You are too worthy of peace. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Not everyone will see the world through your eyes, and that's okay. Your worth doesn't change because someone doesn't appreciate you or doesn't agree with you. Stay true to who you are and your values. Remember, you don't have to let anything or anyone control your emotional state. People will say things. People will act in ways that may confuse or hurt you, but you are the one who gets to decide how to respond. Don't give away your inner power to anyone. You are the keeper of your peace, your joy, and your happiness. So take a step back when you feel that anger rising up. Breathe and let it go. Choose calm, choose resilience, choose peace. And in doing so, you not only free yourself, but you also inspire others to do the same. Let's not let the noise around us steal our joy. Stay focused, stay centered, and always remember the greatest power you can ever have is the power over your own peace. We live in a world that is constantly in motion, a world where opinions fly fast and encounters can be unpredictable. In this whirlwind of interaction, it's easy to be swept away by anger or frustration. But what if instead of reacting in anger, we chose peace? What if we made the conscious decision to remain calm no matter what life or others throw at us? The idea of choosing peace over anger is not just about ignoring problems or turning a blind eye to challenges. It's about empowering ourselves to maintain control over our emotional state in every situation. It's about realizing that we have the ability to respond rather than react. The concept of anger as an immediate reaction is deeply ingrained in human nature. When someone challenges us, insults us, or behaves in a way we perceive as unfair or unjust, the instinct is often to fight back, to defend ourselves, to assert our position. This feeling of anger can be a natural, almost automatic response. However, what we may not realize in those moments is that anger does not serve us in the long term. While it may feel empowering in the moment, it is actually a temporary state that leads to unnecessary stress, anxiety, and harm, both to ourselves and to those around us. Anger is like a fire. It starts small but can quickly spiral out of control, consuming everything in its path. The more we feed it, the more it grows, and soon it becomes difficult to manage. But if we can learn to recognize the early signs of anger and make a deliberate choice to not feed it, we can prevent it from overtaking us. This requires awareness, self-discipline, and a deep understanding of our own emotional triggers. Choosing peace over anger doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means acknowledging your emotions without letting them dominate you. It means creating the space to process your emotions in a healthy way rather than allowing anger to take control. It means choosing not to react impulsively and instead taking a step back to assess the situation from a place of calm. One of the first steps in choosing peace over anger is realizing that your emotional response is within your control. We often feel as though we are at the mercy of others' words or actions, but in reality, it is our response that determines how we feel. No one can make us angry unless we allow it. While we can't control the actions of others, we have the power to control how we respond to them. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering. It puts us in the driver's seat of our own emotional experience, allowing us to navigate through life with more intention and purpose. When we are able to detach ourselves from the idea that others have the power to dictate our emotional state, we begin to recognize that peace is always an option. It's easy to give our power away when we believe that someone's actions or words have the ability to shake our sense of calm. But if we remember that we hold the keys to our own emotional responses, we begin to see the choice more clearly. In the face of criticism, negativity, or conflict, we can take a breath, ground ourselves, and choose peace. This doesn't mean we have to ignore the issue at hand. It simply means that we can engage with it from a place of clarity, rather than allowing anger to cloud our judgment. Another important aspect of choosing peace over anger is understanding that holding on to anger hurts us more than it hurts anyone else. When we allow anger to fester inside us, it creates a toxic environment within our own minds and bodies. Studies have shown that chronic anger can lead to physical health problems such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and even a weakened immune system. The more we harbor negative emotions, the more we expose ourselves to unnecessary stress and discomfort. In life, we often encounter obstacles that seem insurmountable, whether it's a personal setback, a professional challenge, or a difficult situation that arises unexpectedly. It's easy to feel defeated. We might find ourselves questioning our abilities, wondering if we are strong enough to overcome the adversity we face. But one of the most important truths we can embrace is that growth comes not from avoiding challenges, but from moving through them. Every obstacle we encounter is an opportunity for growth, and it is our ability to keep moving forward despite the difficulties that shapes who we become. When faced with adversity, the natural instinct is often to retreat, to step back, or to give up. The fear of failure, the uncertainty of the outcome, or the overwhelming nature of the challenge can make us want to avoid it altogether. However, it is in those very moments when we feel like turning back that our growth truly begins. The discomfort and difficulty we experience are not signs of defeat, but indicators that we are pushing beyond our limits, expanding our capabilities, and learning new lessons that will serve us in the future. Every time we face an obstacle, we have a choice. We can either allow it to stop us in our tracks, or we can decide to keep moving forward no matter how difficult the path may seem. The process of moving forward, even when things aren't going the way we planned, is what allows us to build resilience, inner strength, and perseverance. These qualities are essential for personal growth, as they help us adapt to life's challenges and emerge stronger than we were before. One of the keys to keeping moving forward in the face of obstacles is to shift our mindset. Instead of viewing challenges as something to fear or avoid, we can choose to see them as opportunities for development. When we encounter difficulties, we often focus on what's going wrong, what's difficult, and what we can't control. But if we reframe our perspective and look at the situation as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow, we begin to see things differently. The obstacle is no longer an insurmountable wall, but a stepping stone to something better. Every setback holds valuable lessons that can lead us to personal growth, success, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. In order to keep moving forward, we also need to learn how to manage our emotions. It's normal to feel frustration, fear, or even anger when faced with obstacles. However, these emotions, if not properly managed, can become roadblocks themselves. Instead of allowing these feelings to dictate our actions, we can choose to acknowledge them, process them, and move forward with a clearer head. This emotional resilience allows us to face challenges with a calm and focused mindset, which in turn gives us the ability to make better decisions, find solutions, and take action, even in the face of difficulty. Another important aspect of moving forward through obstacles is the power of persistence. It's easy to want to give up when things aren't going as planned or when success feels out of reach. But persistence is the key to achieving anything worthwhile. Every great achievement, every success story is filled with moments of failure, rejection, and adversity. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the willingness to keep going, even when the road is tough. When we persevere, even through the hardest times, we are showing ourselves that we have the strength to face whatever challenges life throws our way. While persistence is crucial, it's also important to recognize that growth isn't always linear. There will be times when we face setbacks or when progress seems slow. In these moments, it's easy to feel disheartened and wonder if we are making any headway at all. But growth doesn't always happen in straight lines. It's often messy, unpredictable, and full of ups and downs. The key is to keep moving forward even when the progress feels small or imperceptible. With each step we take, no matter how small, we are moving closer to our goal, and eventually those small steps will add up to something significant. One way to stay motivated when facing obstacles is to break down larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. When a challenge feels overwhelming, it's easy to get stuck in the mindset of, I can't do this, or this is too hard. But if we focus on taking small, actionable steps, the process becomes more manageable. By focusing on what we can do in the present moment, rather than becoming overwhelmed by the larger picture, we empower ourselves to keep moving forward. These small victories, even if they seem insignificant at the time, add up and create momentum that pushes us toward our larger goals. We should also remember that we don't have to face obstacles alone. There is no shame in seeking help, whether it's from a mentor, a friend, or a professional. Sometimes talking through challenges with someone who can offer a different perspective or provide guidance can make all the difference. Support systems can provide encouragement and help us stay motivated when things get tough. When we open ourselves to help and collaboration, we allow ourselves to benefit from the wisdom and experience of others, which can accelerate our growth and make it easier to move through challenges. Ultimately, moving forward in the face of obstacles is a choice. It's a choice to keep going even when things are difficult. It's a choice to see every setback as an opportunity for growth. It's a choice to build resilience, persistence, and emotional strength that will serve us in all areas of life. Challenges are inevitable, but they are not the end of the road. They are part of the journey. When we choose to keep moving forward, we choose to embrace the process of growth, knowing that with each obstacle we overcome, we become stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. Life is constantly changing, and with that change comes uncertainty. The unpredictability of the future can often be unsettling. We may face unexpected events, be it a job change, a personal setback, or a shift in our relationships, and it's easy to feel out of control. But in these moments, it's essential to remember that uncertainty is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. The unknown offers an opportunity for growth, new experiences, and change. It's often in the moments of uncertainty that we discover our true strength and resilience. One of the most important things we can do when faced with uncertainty is to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing change as a threat or something to be avoided, we can choose to see it as a chance for new possibilities. While it's natural to want to feel secure and stable, the truth is that life is never static. It is constantly evolving, and the more we try to cling to what's familiar, the more we limit our potential for growth and transformation. Change brings new experiences, new challenges, and new lessons that allow us to expand our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. When we embrace uncertainty, we allow ourselves to be more open to opportunities that we might have otherwise overlooked. Many of the most rewarding experiences in life come from stepping out of our comfort zones and taking risks. It's in those moments when we're uncertain of the outcome that we often learn the most about ourselves. The fear of the unknown can hold us back, but when we choose to embrace it, we become more adaptable and flexible in the face of change. Uncertainty also teaches us to let go of the need for control. It's natural to want to control every aspect of our lives, from our careers to our relationships to our personal goals. However, the reality is that we cannot control everything. Life is full of surprises, and trying to micromanage every situation can lead to frustration and disappointment. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, we can focus on how we respond to the changes that come our way. We can control our attitude, our mindset, and our actions, even if we can't control the circumstances around us. By letting go of the need to control everything, we free ourselves from the stress and anxiety that comes with trying to predict or dictate the future. We become more comfortable with uncertainty because we trust that we have the resilience to navigate whatever comes our way. This doesn't mean that we stop planning or preparing for the future, but rather that we accept that there will always be elements beyond our control. When we can find peace in that acceptance, we become more adaptable and better equipped to handle whatever life presents us with. Another key to embracing uncertainty is developing a sense of trust. Trust in ourselves and trust in the process. We may not always know what the future holds, but we can trust that we have the inner strength to face whatever challenges arise. By trusting ourselves, we give ourselves permission to take risks and pursue new opportunities. Even when the outcome is unclear, this trust also extends to the universe or life itself. There is a certain level of faith that comes with embracing uncertainty. The faith that things will unfold as they are meant to, even if we can't see the bigger picture in the moment. Trusting the process doesn't mean we won't face hardships or difficulties. It means that we believe in our ability to adapt, learn, and grow from those experiences. It means understanding that setbacks and failures are not the end, but rather a part of the journey. We are not defined by our circumstances. We are defined by how we respond to them. In the face of uncertainty, trust allows us to remain grounded and resilient, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. One of the most transformative aspects of embracing uncertainty is the personal growth that it catalyzes. When we allow ourselves to step into the unknown, we develop new skills, gain new insights, and become more confident in our ability to navigate the challenges that come our way. We learn to be resourceful, creative, and flexible. We also learn to become more comfortable with discomfort, which is a crucial skill for personal development. The more we embrace uncertainty, the more we expand our capacity to deal with life's unpredictability. Of course, embracing uncertainty doesn't mean that we won't have moments of fear, doubt, or insecurity. It's natural to feel uncertain when we don't know what's coming next. However, the key is not to let those feelings paralyze us. Instead, we can acknowledge them, but choose not to let them control us. We can take small steps forward even when the path ahead is unclear. Every step we take builds our confidence and resilience, and eventually the uncertainty that once seemed overwhelming becomes something we can navigate with grace and ease. Embracing uncertainty requires a level of self-compassion. We often think that we must have everything figured out, that we need to have a clear plan and a set direction in life. But the truth is, no one has all the answers. Life is a journey, and sometimes the most fulfilling experiences come from the unexpected turns along the way. When we approach uncertainty with kindness and patience for ourselves, we allow room for exploration and discovery. We give ourselves permission to make mistakes, learn, and grow, knowing that we don't have to have it all figured out in order to move forward. We are constantly surrounded by people who may not have the same values, perspectives, or priorities as us. Every day, we encounter individuals who, through their words or actions, seem intent on spreading negativity. It could be someone criticizing us, belittling our ideas, or simply showing a lack of respect. It's easy to get caught up in their negativity, especially when their actions seem personal or hurtful. However, one of the most empowering things we can do for ourselves is to learn not to absorb the negativity of others. When we allow someone else's negativity to affect us, we're essentially giving them control over our emotions. We are allowing their actions or words to dictate how we feel, often to our detriment. The truth is, the person who is directing negativity at us is more often than not acting from their own place of hurt, frustration, or insecurity. They may be projecting their unresolved emotions onto us, and their actions are far more reflective of their internal struggles than they are of who we are as individuals. It is vital to recognize that people's behavior, whether positive or negative, is usually a direct reflection of what's happening in their own lives. Someone who is angry or hurt is more likely to lash out, even at people who have done nothing wrong. Similarly, people who feel insecure or inadequate might attempt to diminish others to feel better about themselves. Their negativity comes from within, and it is often more about their own unmet needs than it is about you or anything you've done. When we understand this, we begin to see that the negativity directed at us is not something we should take personally. Their behavior is their issue, not ours. By internalizing their negativity, we become entangled in their struggles, allowing them to affect our peace of mind. This is especially damaging when we begin to absorb their feelings of anger, jealousy, or resentment. What happens then is that we take on emotions that don't belong to us, and we begin to lose sight of our own emotional well-being. This process of absorbing negativity is not only emotionally exhausting, but it also prevents us from focusing on what really matters. When we allow ourselves to be weighed down by the actions of others, we become distracted from our own goals and values. We may find ourselves spending too much time thinking about what someone said, what they did, or how they made us feel, instead of using our energy to focus on our own growth and happiness. One of the most important steps to breaking free from this cycle is learning to detach from the emotional impact of other people's actions. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or apathetic to others' feelings, but rather recognizing that their emotions are not ours to carry. We can acknowledge their behavior and even empathize with them without taking it personally or allowing it to affect our sense of self-worth. In many cases, negativity is born out of misunderstandings or miscommunications. People may project their frustrations onto us because they misunderstand our intentions, or they may simply be struggling with their own internal battles. The key here is to not take their reactions as a reflection of who we are, but rather as an opportunity to approach the situation with understanding and compassion. When we understand that their behavior stems from something within them, we can choose to engage with empathy instead of reacting with anger or frustration. Choosing not to absorb negativity requires a certain level of emotional maturity. It involves taking responsibility for our own emotional responses and not letting the words or actions of others dictate our feelings. We must remind ourselves that our worth is not determined by how others treat us, but by how we treat ourselves. No one has the power to define us or to make us feel inferior unless we allow it. The moment we stop giving others that power, we take back control of our emotional state. This process of detachment doesn't mean we should ignore our feelings. It's important to acknowledge our emotions and process them in healthy ways. Suppressing our feelings or pretending they don't exist can lead to emotional burnout. Instead, we should give ourselves the space to feel what we're feeling, whether it's frustration, sadness, or anger, and then let those emotions pass. We can express our feelings constructively and move forward without allowing them to consume us or define us. A big part of this emotional detachment is setting boundaries. When we stop absorbing negativity, we protect ourselves from being overwhelmed by the emotions of others. Boundaries help us maintain our peace and safeguard our energy. It's important to be clear about what behaviors we will tolerate and what we won't, and to assertively communicate these boundaries to others. By doing so, we make it clear that we will not engage in toxic dynamics, and we reinforce our own sense of self-worth. In some cases, detaching from negativity may also mean distancing ourselves from people who consistently bring negativity into our lives. This doesn't mean we need to cut ties with everyone who disagrees with us or challenges us, but it does mean we should be mindful of how certain individuals impact our well-being. If someone's behavior is consistently toxic and detrimental to our emotional health, it may be necessary to limit our exposure to them or to reevaluate the relationship altogether. Prioritizing our mental and emotional health is not selfish. It is a necessary part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. It's also essential to surround ourselves with positive influences. The people we choose to spend time with play a huge role in our emotional well-being. When we surround ourselves with individuals who uplift, support, and inspire us, we build a strong foundation of positivity. Positive relationships foster an environment where we feel empowered and encouraged rather than drained or diminished. When we stop absorbing negativity, we also stop perpetuating it. If we react with anger or defensiveness to someone's negativity, we only escalate the situation and add more fuel to the fire. But if we choose not to engage with negativity, we break the cycle and create space for more constructive, compassionate interactions. In this way, we become a positive influence on others and contribute to an environment of mutual respect and understanding. Letting go of the need to absorb others' negativity takes practice, but the more we commit to doing it, the more natural it becomes. It is a powerful tool for preserving our peace of mind, protecting our emotional energy, and staying focused on what truly matters. When we detach ourselves from negativity, we make room for positivity, growth, and inner peace, and in turn, we become more resilient in the face of life's challenges. One of the most freeing realizations we can have in life is that our worth is not determined by others' opinions of us. We often live in a world where validation from external sources, whether it's from family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, seems to dictate how we feel about ourselves. We seek approval and recognition, constantly measuring our value based on how others see us. This external validation can feel reassuring in the moment, but it's a fragile foundation to build our self-worth upon. It's essential to understand that true self-worth comes from within and not from how others perceive us. We all have an inner critic, a voice that sometimes tells us we aren't enough or that we don't measure up to certain standards. This voice often gets louder when we are in environments or situations where judgment is inevitable. Whether it's a social setting, a work situation, or even in our personal relationships, the fear of not being accepted or valued can be overwhelming. However, the moment we realize that our worth is intrinsic, that it is not reliant on external approval, we break free from that fear. We stop allowing other people's views of us to dictate our sense of self-worth. The opinions of others are often shaped by their own experiences, biases, and expectations. What someone thinks of you is more about them than it is about you. People are not objective when it comes to assessing others. They often see things through the lens of their own perspectives, their own desires, or their own insecurities. This means that the judgment or criticism they may pass on you is more often than not influenced by their own inner world. This is why people who are insecure or unhappy with their own lives sometimes project those feelings onto others. When we understand this, we can begin to see their opinions for what they truly are, just opinions, not truths. When we rely too heavily on the opinions of others, we give away our power. We become vulnerable to their judgments, which means our emotional state becomes dependent on them. We may feel elated when we receive praise or recognition, but equally deflated when we face criticism or rejection. This emotional roller coaster is exhausting and unproductive. It keeps us stuck in a cycle where our happiness is contingent upon the approval of others rather than coming from within. By shifting our mindset and learning to embrace the idea that our worth is not contingent on external approval, we empower ourselves. This shift allows us to trust our own judgment, make decisions based on what feels right for us, and pursue our goals without fear of what others might think. We begin to define our own success based on our values, our dreams, and our inner compass, rather than comparing ourselves to others or constantly measuring up to their expectations.